Hello, and thank you so much for joining us for another edition of The Spoken Word with Octavia Nicholas. My name is Garfield Burford, and the last time we were here, we talked about her extraordinarily traumatic experience, but how she turned trauma and travails into a triumph. It's all encapsulated in this book, Surviving a Narcissist. If you haven't read it yet, please get your hands on one. But apart from the prose in it, apart from her experiences which she chronicled in a deeply moving way, there's also the poetry. Here's time for another of those poems in this edition of The Spoken Word, You Said. As we welcome Octavia Nicholas again. Octavia, why did you write this one, You Said?
So you said, it was me sitting and thinking of all the things that were, said to me in my relationship, all the negative things that were said. The title of the book is Surviving a Narcissist. And what a narcissist does is that he tries to break you down and make you feel less than. So however, they can do that, they will. So for me, in my case, it was through words as well. I mean, I went through physical and emotional, but the words were very hurtful as well. And in that poem, you said, when you listen to the poem, you will hear some of the things that were, that were said. And these are things that, can be really, that were, not can be, but that were really hurtful. So when someone said to you, I made you, you will be nothing without me. These are things that, are said to really try to make you think, well, you are nothing. Without me, you can't exist. Without me, you can't reach your full potential. So it was just sitting and, as I said, just writing what I was going through, what I was feeling. And for me, I felt every bit of what was being said to me. And I just thought, if I'm really encouraging women or people on a whole, then I need to really tell them, explain to them what a narcissist would do, how they would do it, the things that they would say to you. So that's why I was a bit graphic in writing, You Said.
We're going to go into some of the lines in the poem which are, as I said, so impactful and poignant. But was it a case for you, Octavia, that words were used in that relationship to denigrate you, to essentially, for the narcissist, it was words were weaponized against you?
Yes, definitely.
And is it a case now where you have turned those words, instead of weaponizing them, as he did, you have now used words to uplift? Is that the case that is in this point?
With You Said, it's really just saying or telling you what was, the words that were said. There is another poem in the book which we will get to later that really sort of counteracts what, You Said is saying. But we will get to that one a bit later. So yes, I have, turned things around. So the negative things that were being said to me, I realized where they were coming from. So I did not really accept them on myself or accept them for myself. I was able to just turn them into a positive. So for instance, when you say, oh, you think you're beautiful, for me, I did not take that in and sort of second guess myself, well, am I beautiful or not? Maybe I'm not really, because, this person who loved me saying, well, you're not. But then for me, I knew I was. So I stood by that. And there were certain things that I did to show that I am beautiful. So I continued along doing the things that I was doing, making sure I am well presented, look myself in the mirror and tell myself, you are beautiful. So I was able, yes, to counteract what was being said to me in the poem, You Said.
How were you able during that time? You mentioned looking into the mirror and the affirmation to essentially make it clear to yourself that, notwithstanding what you're being told by the narcissist, that you will not let that denigrate you or tear you down. But looking back, are you surprised at how strong you were during those times?
I am, to be honest. As I said, there were times that I really wanted to give up. I thought, I can't make it. It makes no sense. You think well, everything is, just crumbling down. You had hopes and dreams, you had aspirations. You're in a relationship and you saw it going one way, and then you just see everything come crumbling down. So for me, it was very difficult. So at some point, I started doubting myself in many areas. Well, can I really make it on my own? How difficult is it going to be to start all over on my own? So I had to really dig deep within to really find the strength. So one of the things I did was positive affirmations. So I did that every morning, and that has now become a part of me. So every morning I wake up, I do my prayers, I do my affirmations and meditation as well. So now I'm practicing all of that. So I would just going through, look myself in the mirror sometimes, you're fresh out of the shower, you stand, you look at yourself and you say, I am beautiful. And saying it with conviction and confidence as well. And also you hear it, from other people. So while you heard from the narcissist that maybe you weren't as, there were other people who were also, affirming that you are. And I was able to look myself in the mirror and say, well, yes, I am, and believe it,
When you recount the words that the narcissist would have used to you, the comments that were made, obviously to try to, as I said, denigrate you, how can this help other individuals? Because this does appear that it is emblematic of how narcissists operate. These are some of the same things that they say in whatever relationship they're in. How can it help? How do you want this, by recounting this, to help others who might be in the same situation as you?
So basically, when you listen to the poem, it will say, or you will hear some of the things that a narcissist, some of the words that they will use to you. As I said, it's things like to make you think that you are less than, to make you think that you can't go on your own, to make you think that you are useless or nothing without them. So being able to put it on paper, maybe people can relate to it. When you read, there might be quite a few people who can relate to that. And if you go deeper into the book and you read, then it will help you or show you how you can actually deal with that when it's being said to you, or these things are being said to you. How do you get out of that? How do you think something different than what is being said to you?
Let me ask you a deeply moving question about how things have been after writing the book. Have you seen the person with whom you had been in a relationship since then?
I have, since writing the book, not in close contact, but then just in passing or maybe in traffic or so, but no close contact since.
Has there been any attempt to try to reach out to you since then, since writing the book?
No, not after the book. Before the book, yes, but since the book, no attempt.
If you were in any sort of close contact with this individual, given the strength that you have garnered since writing the book, how do you think that interaction would go? How would you be able to make sure that there's no sort of impact on your emotional health?
For me, I had to forgive. So I had to forgive the individual, and maybe not just for them, but for me, because part of healing is forgiving. So I had to forgive the individual so I could receive my healing. So for me to have a conversation with the individual would be able to say that, I have forgiven you. I see where this, came from. Maybe explaining, yes, you really did hurt me, but I am over it now. Because now I understand that it wasn't really about me. It was about the individual and what they were going through in their own mind. Maybe what trauma they would have gone through as well. So sometimes it's not always about us. So I will be able to look at the person now and say, I have forgiven you. And I do wish that going forward that you can do differently. And I'm hoping too that the book would have, if maybe the individual would read the book or would have read it, or someone would maybe give them snippets of the book, then they would say they would be able to learn something from it, or it would make them think that, gosh, now that I'm actually seeing this on paper, I see the hurt and the pain that I actually caused. For a narcissist, it may be very difficult to see that or do that, but you never know. The situations are different and all situations are unique. People are different. So I still have hope that maybe seeing it on paper would bring maybe some healing too, or some change for that individual.
Do you think the ultimate triumph for you is that you've been able to forgive this individual?
Yes, it has been. Because I've gotten that question quite a bit. People have said to me, well, how can you forgive someone like that? Oh, you never forgive. I even had people who, after reading the book, who says to me, who would maybe even say that oh my gosh, I would just hate this individual. And then I had to turn around and say, well, no, this is not the purpose of the book, really. It's to bring light and to bring hope to others. So, I think this is where, this is really coming from.
Wow, extraordinarily powerful and moving. All in the book, Surviving a Narcissist, the spoken word focusing on the poems, the deeply powerful, visceral imagery of the pain and the trauma that Octavia Nicholas went through and not only prevailed through, but has thrived since. Powerful. An example of the human spirit, the power of the human spirit. Words are powerful, but when they're spoken, they're even more so. Take a listen as we now hear You Said.
You said, when I said I was leaving, you said, you will be nothing without me because I made you. I gave you my point of view, and you said, you think you know it all, you're so full of it. When I was confident in my own skin, you said, you think you're so beautiful. I have been with better looking women than you. I told you I bring just as much to the table. You said, you are not and will never be my equal. I worked late and extended hours, and you said, you slave for the white man, you will never get ahead. I ventured into my own business, and you said, now you're making some money, it's getting to your head. These are the words I remember you said.